The fateful trip of an American female student. In 2005, during a trip to the island of Aruba with her classmates, female student Natalee Holloway suddenly disappeared the night before the group returned to the U.S. Her vacation suddenly became a disaster for the whole group and a terrible obsession for her family living in Alabama. Mrs. Beth Twitty, Natalee's mother, continuously searched for clues about her child in despair and boundless love for her child. Natalee Holloway was born on October 21, 1986 in Clinton, Mississippi, USA. She is the daughter of Mr. David Edward Holloway and Mrs. Elizabeth N. Holloway, often called Mrs. Beth. A graduate of Brooke High School with honors, she was also a member of the National Honor Society. On May 30, 2005, Natalee suddenly disappeared during a post-graduation trip with her students to Aruba, a Caribbean country in the Kingdom of the Netherlands. Natalee was discovered missing when she failed to show up at the airport for her return flight to the United States after a 5-day vacation in Aruba, with her luggage and passport still at the hotel where she was staying. Her disappearance shocked the entire group of students and local residents, and brought grief and haunting grief to her family living in Alabama. U.S. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice also spoke out, asking domestic investigators as well as the Dutch and Aruba governments to make every effort to find Natalee. Previously, on May 26, 2005, Natalee Holloway and 124 graduates of Mountain Brook High School, located in the wealthy suburbs of Birmingham, Alabama, traveled to Aruba. The trip was managed and supervised by 7 teachers at the school. Natalee was last seen by her classmates when she left the Carlos and Charlie's nightclub at about 1:30 a.m. on May 30, 2005. At that time, she was with 3 local youths, Joran van der Sloot and 2 brothers Deepak Kalpo, 21 years old, Sudhesh Kalpo, 18 years old, in Deepak Kalpo's car. When the investigators questioned the 3, they said that after hanging out at the beach, they took her back to her hotel and then did not know what happened. On May 30, 2005, immediately after learning of Natalee's disappearance, her mother and stepfather immediately traveled to Aruba with some close friends by private jet. Within 4 hours of landing in Aruba, the Twitty family, their friends, and 2 Aruba police officers arrived at the van der Sloot home looking for Natalee Holloway. Van der Sloot initially denied knowing her but later admitted that he and the Kalpo brothers drove her to Irashi Beach because Natalee said she wanted to see sharks and took her back to the hotel immediately. Before getting out of the car, Van der Sloot noticed that Natalee was still drunk. He offered to take her to her room but she refused, and he added that he saw a man in black helping Natalee, but because it was dark he could not see her face clearly. He thought it was a hotel security guard. During the later investigation, 2 security guards at the hotel where Natalee stayed were also arrested when police discovered blood stains in their room, but they were released shortly after when blood test results showed that it was not human blood. During the investigation, Joran van der Sloot changed his statement many times. Initially, he said he took Natalee to the hotel where she stayed, but the video recorded by the security camera in the hotel lobby did not record this scene. He then told the story that he and Natalee had gone for a walk on the beach and the Kalpo brothers drove home first, at which time she had also drunk a lot at the nightclub, was tipsy and could not control her actions. He said that Natalee had suggested that they have sex and stay on the beach until morning, but he did not respond because he did not bring condoms and had to go to school the next morning. He wanted to go home but she did not want to, so he left Natalee alone on the beach and went home. He called Deepak Kalpo to pick him up. When Deepak arrived, he asked Natalee and found out that she was still on the beach. Deepak asked Van der Sloot to go find her and take her home, but he refused and walked home alone. Van der Sloot also said that it was very possible that Deepak went to find Natalee and then did bad things and then harmed her. When compared with the testimony of the Kalpo brothers, this is not the case at all. On November 30, 2007, the judge ordered the release of the Kalpo brothers, despite the efforts of the Natalee family's lawyer to prolong their detention. On December 18, 2007, after many unsuccessful attempts to find Natalee, prosecutor Hans Moos officially announced the suspension of Natalee's case due to lack of evidence, but Joran van der Sloot and the Kalpoe brothers were still being monitored. On December 7, 2007, van der Sloot was also released due to lack of evidence that he had committed a crime. Confessed after smoking marijuana. In January 2008, a Dutch reporter became close to van der Sloot and gained his trust. During one of his visits after smoking marijuana, van der Sloot revealed to this reporter the whole story of the night he went with Natalee Holloway. The two of them went for a walk on the beach while Natalee was drunk, but very happy and comfortable. He asked her to have sex but she refused and tried to fight when forced, and at that time he suddenly saw the girl's whole body shaking, her eyes rolled back and she was speechless. And about 15 minutes later, Natalee passed out. He tried every way to wake Natalee, but when she still lay motionless, he thought she was dead. Frightened and confused, he called an acquaintance, who calmed him down and came to the beach to help him take Natalee's body to a swamp in Aruba to dispose of it. His story was recorded by this reporter and it was published in February 2008. Shortly after, van der Sloot met with Aruban investigators to deny everything he said on the tape, saying that under the influence of marijuana he was in a state of unconsciousness and lack of consciousness, so what he said at that time was not reliable. Aruban prosecutors tried to get an arrest warrant for van der Sloot based on the tape, but the judge rejected the request. On June 2, 2010, 22-year-old Joran van der Sloot became the prime suspect in the murder case in Lima, Peru of Stephanie Tatiana Flores Ramirez. Ramirez was found stabbed to death in a hotel room registered to van der Sloot, who had been seen by hotel staff together and had also been caught on security cameras. By this time, van der Sloot had left Peru for Chile and possibly Argentina, where he had intended to travel. 5 years have passed, and despite the huge expenditure of money and effort, Natalee Holloway has not been found. Her mother, Beth, and her family still hope that their daughter is alive. The case has been made into a film and a book, and Beth has founded a non-profit organization called Safe Travel International, which works to inform travelers about safe international travel. In April 2010, Beth announced plans for a service called Mayday 360, to provide timely intervention when young people get into trouble abroad. In June 2010, Beth established the Natalee Holloway Fund at the National Museum of Crime and Punishment in Washington, D.C., to support and assist the families of missing persons. Beth continues to appear on television as new discoveries are made in her son's case. And every year, on Natalee's birthday, she organizes a campaign for teenagers, fathers, and mothers about the dangers that can happen to them when traveling abroad. Beth said, "Natalee was only 19 years old at the time, beautiful, full of life and very ambitious for the future. She was very excited for the trip and did not show any anxiety when traveling with friends and teachers. She never thought she would be in danger on this trip, but sometimes, danger always exists in the things that we feel most normal." The confession ends the Natalee Holloway case after 18 years. October 18, 2023. Joran van der Sloot, the prime suspect in the 2005 murder of Alabama teenager Natalee Holloway, admitted to killing her on a beach in the Caribbean island of Aruba, a confession he made when pleading guilty to blackmailing the victim's mother. In June, van der Sloot, 36, was temporarily extradited from a Peruvian prison to Alabama to face 2 charges of extortion and wire fraud in the United States. He had been serving a 28-year prison sentence since 2012 for the murder of another woman in Lima, the capital of Peru. In pleading guilty and waiving his right to appeal, van der Sloot apologized to Holloway's family and said he had become a Christian since the murder, NBC reported. U.S. federal judge Ana Manosco sentenced him to 20 years in prison, to be served concurrently with his sentence in Peru, followed by 3 years of probation. Vander Sloot confessed to U.S. investigators that he killed Holloway after she repeatedly rejected his sexual advances on a beach near the hotel. After she kneed him in the groin, he said he kicked her in the face, knocking her unconscious, and dumped her body in the ocean.